Fertilization. Fertilization. Now, fertilization occurs after the process of coitus. Fertilization occurs after the process of coitus or sexual intercourse. Fertilization occurs after the process of coitus or sexual intercourse, and it takes place in the fallopian tube. Fertilization occurs after the process of coitus and takes place in the fallopian tube, also called the oviduct. Now, fertilization is defined as the fusion of the male and female sex cells. Fertilization occurs or is defined as the fusion of male and female sex cells. This occurs after the fusion of male and female sex cells. Fusion is the same as mixing. So we say fertilization is the mixing of the male and female sex cells. Remember, the male sex cell is the sperm, whereas the female sex cell is the ovum. Therefore, fertilization occurs after the mixing of the sperm and the ovum, or the fusion of the male and female sex cells. After fertilization, we form something that we call a zygote. Something called a zygote is formed after fertilization. And therefore, a zygote is defined as a fertilized ovum. A zygote is defined as a fertilized ovum. This zygote is formed in the fallopian tube because that is where fertilization takes place. It is formed in the fallopian tube. And a zygote, remember, is a fertilized ovum. So it is formed in the fallopian tube. Once it is formed in the fallopian tube, it then moves. What is moving? The zygote. The zygote then moves slowly and attaches itself on the walls of the uterus. It attaches itself on the walls of the uterus. Therefore, yes?
And you open the brackets.
Therefore,
Diamond Elegant.
Therefore, there is someone opening brackets in my class.
Name.
That person opening brackets. If that person is opening brackets next to you, please mute. Yes, mute yourself so that those brackets are not opening in our class also. That's okay, good. So we have said that after fertilization, fertilization is a fusion of the male and female sex cell, or the mixing of the male and female sex cell. The male and female sex cell are called the sperm and the ovum. So when they mix, we get something we call a zygote. You have said that a zygote is defined as a fertilized ovum. The zygote is defined as a fertilized ovum. Once the zygote is fertilized, then the zygote moves slowly towards the uterus. The zygote moves towards the uterus and attaches itself. The zygote attaches itself on the uterine walls or on the walls of the uterus using some small finger-like projections. So it is going to attach on the wall of the uterus. So when we talk about implantation, that attachment is called implantation. So when we talk about implantation, the next question you can ask yourself is, what is implanted on the wall of the uterus? Then you will say that on the wall of the uterus, the zygote is implanted. It is the zygote that is implanted on the wall of the uterus. The zygote is implanted on the uterine wall. After implantation on the wall of the uterus, the zygote then grows. It then grows. It then grows into something that we call an embryo. It then grows into an embryo. After attaching itself on the wall of the uterus, it changes into an embryo. So therefore, after attachment or implantation, we now have the embryo. The embryo. Then after about 6 months, the embryo develops into a fetus. It develops into a fetus. It develops into a fetus. And the fetus is attached to the placenta using the umbilical cord. The fetus is attached to a placenta using an umbilical cord. The fetus is attached to the placenta using an umbilical cord. So I want to make something clear here, boys and girls. I want to make something a little clear here, boys and girls. Something that I need to make clear here. Now, what I need to make clear here is this. We have talked about fertilization. Okay? I hope you are following. We've talked about fertilization. We've talked about fertilization. I hope you're following. And we have said that fertilization is the fusion of the male and female sex cells, and it takes place in the fallopian tube. Once we have that fusion or mixing of the male and female sex cells, we are going to develop something we call a zygote. So this zygote is found in the fallopian tube because that is where fertilization takes place. In the fallopian tube, we have the zygote in the fallopian tube. But now, after formation of the zygote in the fallopian tube through fusion or mixing of male and female sex cells, then the zygote then now moves slowly towards the womb. The womb. The zygote now moves slowly towards the womb of the uterus. That it is the zygote that is moving towards the womb. Then this zygote attaches itself on the walls of the uterus using small finger-like projections. So what is attached on the wall of the uterus is the zygote. Note at the end, it is the zygote that is attached. This attachment is called implantation. So what is implanted? The zygote. I hope that is clear. This is a question that has confused learners over the years. So for example, if you look at KCPE, let us look at KCPE 2015. 2015. Open 2015 very fast. 2015, 2016, 2017. We had there's almost the same question there. As you look up those years, we can continue. 2015, 2016, 2017. We had almost the same question there. You have it 2015. Who's your 2015? 2015, check number, I don't know if it's number 40 something. Between number 30 something to 40 something, thereabout. What is number 50? 2015, 2016, and 2017. Even 2018, there was a question like that. 2017, 2018, thereabout. So as you get the questions, let me continue with my explanation. So we have the zygote at fertilization. Okay? Then we have a zygote at implantation. We still have a zygote. Then after implantation on the wall of the uterus, that is when now the zygote develops into an embryo. So the embryo is now in the womb during the process of gestation now, during that process of development. That is when we have the embryo. Then, after the embryo now, after about 6 months of the embryo, we then now move to something we call what? We now call a fetus. This fetus, of course, is going to attach itself to the placenta. The fetus now attaches itself to the placenta using something we call what? The umbilical cord. Using the umbilical cord. Then after the fetus, then we'll now have a full-grown baby that is now delivered. That now gives us the developmental process. The developmental process of Zefu, downwards, Zefu, written downwards. If you write Zefu downwards, you get the developmental process of the baby. The developmental process of the baby. So you have Zef downwards like that. Zef. Z, you have a zygote. And remember, this zygote is found in the fallopian tube. So you indicate there that it's found in the fallopian tube. And it is also found at implantation. So fertilization and implantation, zygote. Then you go to embryo. The embryo is now found in the womb During the process of gestation. Then then we have the baby, or the full-grown baby. The full-grown baby. Full-grown baby. So I hope that is clear. So who has got any of the questions? Any here?
Yes.
2017, you can check 49, I think. This is the boost. Halima Abdikarim. Halima.
Yes.
Someone is making noise in your background. Tell them that I'm going to box them. They don't keep quiet.
Okay.
But, yes, concentrate. Tell them to stay away so that you can concentrate, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes? Who is reading the question? Who are these with boosters? Are they on strike? One of them was Pauline Jerry. You have a booster. Pauline Jerry, don't you have a booster? Yes, Emily. Have you got the question? Not that one. You're talking about fertilization. Fertilization. 2017, check number 49, 47 or 49, thereabout. Read the question. You don't want to read. Yes, Brittany.
Booster 2017.
2017, yes.
Which one of the following function of the amniotic sac? Which one of the following is a function of the amniotic sac during pregnancy?
Which one of the following is a function of the amniotic sac? That's a different one, but hold that, we'll deal with it later on. 2016, 2018, there's still a question. 2016, there's a question. I don't know why you are not reading those questions for me, but let me read them often because I know the questions. Question number 1, I want you to answer this question. Which one of the following is implanted and develops into a baby? Which one of the following is implanted and develops into a baby? That I think is 2016. Which one of the following is implanted and develops into a baby? Then I give you A. I will give you zygote. B, I'll give you embryo. C, I will give you fetus. And then D, I will give you, let me just say, I'll give you, let me give you ovum. What is implanted and develops into a baby there? What is implanted and develops into a baby?
Fetus.
Yes?
Fetus.
I heard someone is saying fetus.
Fetus.
Fetus. How many say fetus? Let me see by show of hands. Very good. I can see Adasa, Alison. You're saying fetus. Michelle Mushiri, Sheila Mukiri. There you are, fetus. Good. Good. That is the beauty of being an examiner. Now, this person is just playing around with your psychology. Give yourself a clap if you said fetus. One serious clap. Where you are, give yourself a clap. Good. That clap is for trying because your answer is wrong. That is for trying because the answer is wrong. Now, I repeat what I said because you are not listening. Let me repeat. I said that the first process in the first process we are going to have is something we call coitus, isn't it? Or sexual intercourse. After the sexual intercourse, we are going to have something we call fertilization. Where fertilization, we said, is mixing or fusion of male and female sex cells. And we said this takes place in the what? In the
Oviduct.
In the oviduct, also called fallopian tube. Now, when this takes place, we come up with something. What is the product that you're going to come out with? You're going to come out with something that is called a zygote. Where do we have the zygote? The zygote is in the oviduct or fallopian tube. That is where we have the zygote, isn't it? That is where we have the zygote. In the oviduct or fallopian tube. That is where we have the zygote. Then I said that the zygote moves. The zygote moves. What is moving? Zygote moves towards the uterus. The uterus is also called womb. I've said it moves and it attaches itself. Where does it attach itself? On the wall of the uterus. And that attaching itself is what is called implantation. So what is attaching itself? What is attaching itself?
The
zygote, yes. I have not mentioned the embryo anyway. I have not even mentioned fetus. I have only talked about zygote, only so far. And I've said the zygote is formed after fertilization. Then the zygote moves. Then the zygote attaches itself. It is attaching itself on the wall that is called implantation. So what is implanted? Michelle, what is implanted?
Zygote.
Zygote. Alima, what is implanted?
zygote.
Zygote. So it is a zygote that is implanted. But now, this examiner knows that you are confused. So he's just playing around with your head. That is why he's saying this one is implanted and develops into a baby. So it's not get confused. Like you think that because of developing into a baby, then now the answer will be fetus, because it is a fetus, then from fetus you go to baby. But you must remember that even a zygote will develop into a baby eventually, isn't it? Or a zygote will develop into a goat. The zygote is also developing into a baby. So this person is just baby. So we say, we start with the zygote, and the zygote is implanted. After the zygote, we have the second stage, which is the embryo. Then after the embryo, we have the fetus. Then finally, we have the baby, or the baby, or unborn baby. What is implanted? The zygote. The zygote. Are we there? Are we clear up to that point?
Yes.
Good. So do not get mixed up. Do not get mixed up. Now, what do we get after fertilization? After fertilization, what do we get?
Zygote.
Zygote, correct. Zygote. Now, remember when you have a fetus, now the limbs is visible. You can see the limbs, eh? You can see the legs, you can see the hands. The limbs are now visible at fetus. So if you're told about visible limbs, that is now fetus. But if you have cells, the what? The parts of the have started developing. That right now is an embryo. The parts of the have started developing, parts of the head. Okay? But when we talk about limbs, fetus. The parts of the head, embryo. I hope that is clear to that point. So that is why I have said we start with Zefu. 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 Z-E-F-U. So that is zygote, embryo, fetus, baby. But where you have Zefu, where you have Z, remember at Z we are at both fertilization and implantation. So at Z we have Phi. I repeat, at Z we have Phi. We say Zefu, but at Z we have Phi. Does that make sense? Yeah? We have Zefu, but at Z we have Phi. Is that okay? Yes. We have Zefu, zygote, embryo, fetus, baby. But at Z, which is zygote, we have Phi, which is fetus and what? Rather, which is fertilization and implantation. So, fertilization and implantation. Fertilization and implantation. Fertilization and implantation. So any question up to that point?
No.
Jaoko, are you okay?
Yes.
Umeelewa vizuri?
Yes.
Jaoko, umeelewa?
Yes.
Aya, Brittany, umeelewa?
Yes.
I'm not seeing Magdalene today. Where's Magdalene? Is she here?
No.
Magdalene is nowhere to be seen. St. Peter's, how many are you here? I'm seeing Mercy, I'm seeing Brittany, I'm seeing Emily. Who is the other? There are two Emilys. One is a Cheng and the other one is
Nakabi.
Gadoni. So I'm seeing two Emilys. Any other person?
Daisy.
Ah, yes, there's Felicity there. There's Veran. That is good. Veran Bogomba. Veran, are you in Kisii County? Veran,
Yes.
are you in Kisii County?
No.
Where are you?
Nakuru.
Nakuru. Good. Nakuru is okay. Yeah, you're just near us here. So let us, I hope that is clear. I want to do a quick recap. We have said fertilization. What is fertilization? Now go.
The fusion of female and male sex cells.
The what? Mixing
The fusion.
or fusion of male and female sex cells. That is okay. Number two, where does fertilization take place? Emily.
Fallopian tube.
It takes place in the fallopian tube. What is the other name of fallopian tube? Alison? Oviduct. That is correct, Alison. Now, what do we call a fertilized ovum? A fertilized ovum. Emily Acheng.
Zygote.
That is called a zygote. A zygote. In which part of the reproductive system, female reproductive system, do we have a zygote? Angel, where do you have a zygote? We have it in two parts. Where?
Oviduct and uterus.
We have one in the oviduct, not on the uterus. Wait, I'll box you. In the oviduct, and then on the uterine wall. That's how. On the uterine wall. Because we have said in the oviduct, after fertilization, we develop the zygote. Then this zygote moves and attaches itself on the walls of the uterus. And there we also have the zygote. Then after that, it develops into an embryo. This embryo is now found in the womb during the process of gestation. Then after that, we have something called fetus. And then from fetus, we have a full-grown baby. Full-grown baby. Now, once that is clear, let me now move to something else. If that is clear, let me now move to something else. I will now want to move to the function of the placenta. Function of the placenta. Sorry. Wait a minute. Let me just confirm. Yes, function of the placenta. Let's move there. Function of the placenta. Number one. And let me just make this a bit easy for you. That the moment you see placenta, anytime you see placenta, once you see placenta, what you will be looking for? Look for something that we call exchange. So it facilitates, so say it facilitates. The placenta facilitates the exchange The placenta facilitates the exchange of materials between the mother and the baby. The placenta facilitates the exchange of materials between the mother and the baby. The placenta facilitates the exchange of materials between the mother. So exchange is the key word there. So we start with exchange of food, exchange of waste. Exchange of food and exchange of waste between mother and baby. That is placenta. So the moment you see exchange, placenta. Exchange, placenta. Exchange, placenta. Exchange, placenta. Exchange, placenta. Exchange, placenta. So therefore, exchange of food from the mother's blood to the baby, exchange of oxygen from the mother's blood to the baby, exchange of carbon dioxide from the mother to from the baby to the mother, exchange of waste material from the baby to the mother's bloodstream takes place through the placenta. So talk about exchange of food, exchange of waste material that includes carbon dioxide and other wastes. Then of course that. Now the placenta also performs another important function that is called protection. So say protection, protection. So we have exchange and protection. Placenta, exchange and protection. 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 So protection from of the baby from harmful sucker substances or harmful harmful bacteria. That is placenta. Then we go to something called umbilical cord. Umbilical cord. Function of the umbilical cord. Now you look for something we call it transport. 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 Umbilical cord now, transport. It transports. It transports. It transports to the placenta. Then the placenta exchanges. Are we there? Or it transfers from the placenta. So transport. Umbilical cord, transport of material. Transport. Umbilical cord, transport. Transport. So it connects the embryo to the placenta. So it transports food substances, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and wastes. Transports food substances, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and wastes. So transport. Now, amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid, functions of the amniotic fluid. Number one, absorbs shock. It's a shock absorber. The amniotic fluid is a shock absorber. Absorbs shock. Number two, it prevents damage to the baby. It prevents damage to the baby, damage to the fetus, damage. It prevents drying of the baby. Drying of the baby. It prevents drying of the baby. Some people say it prevents dehydration of the baby, or it rehydrates the baby. So it prevents drying or dehydration of the baby. It allows movement of the baby. It allows movement of the baby. It is a lubricant during birth. Lubricant during birth. Is a lubricant during birth. Lubricant during birth. And it reduces friction. It reduces friction. It reduces friction. Now, the function of the amniotic fluid is the same as the function of the amniotic sac. Mtu akikuuliza function of the amniotic sac, unachukua hizo hizo because the amniotic sac carries the amniotic fluid. Sawa sawa? So if you ask the function of the amniotic sac, unachukua hizo hizo. Sawa sawa? Sawa sawa? Same as that. So you give it that. That was also asked, I think, in 20. That was the question that was asked in 2017. Function of the amniotic sac. Read that question again. Who was that? Emily Cheng. Were you the one who had the question on amniotic sac?
No.
Who was it?
Brittany.
Brittany, yes. Read that question again.
Which one of the following is a function of the amniotic sac during pregnancy?
Yes, which one is a function of the amniotic sac during pregnancy? Read choice A.
Passes digested food to the fetus.
Passes the digested food. We talked about digested food. That is exchange of digested food. That is placenta, isn't it? Exchange of digested food. That is placenta. Next.
Allows gaseous exchange between the mother
Exchange.
and
You cannot
fetus.
exchange. Unaenda bado kwa placenta. Another one.
Prevents harmful microorganisms from reaching
Prevents
the
harmful microorganism. You have talked about protection. Protection ni nani? Which part? Protection?
Amnion fluid.
Huh?
Amnion fluid.
I'll box you. Protection. What have I said offers protection? Placenta, correct. So placenta, we talked about exchange and protection. Next one.
protects the fetus from physical shock.
Protects the fetus from physical shock. What is that now? Amniotic sac. They have told you that if you ask the functions of the amniotic fluid, you check the functions of the amniotic sac. If you ask the function of the amniotic sac, you take the functions of the amniotic fluid. So, in summary, functions of the amniotic fluid or amniotic sac include: it absorbs shock, it prevents damage, physical damage to the baby, it prevents drying of the baby, it allows the movement of the baby. Now the baby must move, the baby must perform exercises in the morning. Fanye push-ups asubuhi, hata kama ni frog jump. No, the baby must perform those ones. Frog jumps in the morning, can also do star jumps. So, the amniotic fluid allows the baby to move. So it allows movement of the baby. It is a lubricant during birth. That is why during the birth process, you have the bursting of the amniotic sac. Produce amniotic fluid as the lubricant during birth, and then it reduces friction. Function of the placenta, we have said you look for exchange and protection. Exchange of food, exchange of waste, exchange of carbon dioxide, exchange of materials from mother to baby, exchange of materials from baby to mother, that is placenta. Protection from harmful substances, that is placenta. Protection from harmful substances, that is placenta. Yes, Michelle Mushiri. Michelle Mushiri, your hand is up. She's not talking. Aya. So protection. Yes?
Which question are you reading?
Good.
Which question?
There's no question. I didn't ask any question. I didn't ask any question. Okay, let us continue. So, umbilical cord, we have talked about transport. We have said placenta, exchange and protection. Umbilical cord, transport of waste, transport of food, transport of carbon dioxide, etc. Remember, the umbilical cord has a vein and an artery. So the two perform different functions. Then we have the amniotic fluid. Those are the functions of those parts. The next thing we are supposed to look at is the birth process. But I have less than a minute, so I will not go through it. I will go through it in the next lesson. The birth process. I will send you summarized notes. I will send you summarized notes. And you remind me, I forget. If I don't remember, you remind me, because I forget. I'm old these days. I'll send you summarized notes on the same. Otherwise, we leave it there for now. The next lesson begins in the next 4 minutes. So I don't want to eat the time. I've already eaten 5 minutes. So the next 4 minutes, we have the next lesson, which is going to be English. Is it English?
Yes.
English is the next lesson in the next 4 minutes. This one is ending in the next 30 seconds. If you have a question, you have 30 seconds. So use the same link.